has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back, hour number 3 here. Ferrall, coast to coast on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today, and it's Monday. That means it's time to check in with our man Smiley Kaufman. Of course, you can catch the Smiley Show right here on SportsGrid. New episodes, couple times a week, and we're getting close. It's almost time for the drive down Magnolia Lane as we get ready for the Masters this time next week. They'll be showing up Sunday, Monday, getting themselves all checked. They write in that book, right, Smiley? First, you come in, you get your number when you first pull into the Masters. Everybody looks and see who was here first. They check little book. So it's a great moment for all these guys, right? How was it your first time you went in there and you wrote your name on that book, Smiley? How was it?
I was curious to see what number I was going to get because, you feel like you want to get a lucky number, right? You don't want to get some terrible number that a football player wouldn't want to wear. You don't want to look like the backup quarterback. The number I got was 50, which I thought was a great number and turned out to be a pretty good number for the week.
It was a good number for you, that's for sure, that week. Smiley, let's talk about this great win in Houston. We'll start here with Min-Woo Lee, who a great week for us here at the Grid because I know that you picked him for your one and done. So you had Min-Woo Lee this week. On our Golf Wednesday picks, I had Min-Woo Lee. Our boy Keith Stewart had Min-Woo Lee as well. So me, Keith Stewart, and Smiley, all of us in on Min-Woo this past week. So a huge week for us with his victory, his first ever win on the PGA Tour. If you watched Full Swing, you got a little behind-the-scenes look at Min-Woo and his sister. I think a lot of people obviously have been backing him since then too, Smiley. Great job by Min-Woo Lee. Great win heading into the Masters.
Yeah, the golf course at Memorial Park didn't exactly test you off the tee. It's a very not a very difficult golf course when it comes to tee to green, but you had to miss it in the right spots. There was tons of rain this week in Houston. Started on Monday, pretty much rained all the way through Friday. So Saturday and Sunday, the golf course never really had that same type of firmness and bite that it had the year prior, where we saw Steven Jaeger just edge out Scotty Scheffler. But if there was just a little bit more teeth off the tee, I would like it just a little bit more. Min-Woo Lee was all over the yard on Sunday. I mean, he had some shots that would have been in not only in a backyard, but it would have been in front yards. So he was lucky that he was playing a golf course where you weren't penalized very much off of the tee. Even the one shot that he did penalize himself was the 16th hole, hits it in the water there, but still finds a way to make a bogey on that par 5, and it turned out to be just enough to win the golf tournament.
It certainly did, and it had to be tough for him because you know that you're coming down the stretch, you're playing the last 3 or 4 holes. It's got to be human nature to look up at that board, and when you see Scheffler get to 19, you're probably like, oh, man, here we come. Scotty's just charging hard. Let's talk about Scotty for a second. Now, he hasn't had any wins yet this year. He's been kind of getting a little bit better each week. I would say, Smiley, that's as good as a tune-up you would want heading into the Masters, how he played, especially, I thought, Saturday and Sunday in Houston.
Well, he had a course record 62 on Fridays and, really did it with his putter. The ball striking was okay those days. I think he really struggled with how soft the greens were. I think that the numbers would have been much, much better if the greens weren't, so difficult to get the ball to stop. Back pins were just, your guys are hitting 2 extra clubs and just dead handing shots to keep it from spinning basically off the green. I wouldn't say that would be Scotty's strength. I would say his strength is firmer greens where he's got to really hit into some tight areas. So this week, I wouldn't really necessarily look at those numbers and just use them as, his iron game is okay. It really was fine. I saw a lot of really good stuff from Scotty, especially on Sunday, where I got to watch him all day. Birdie 4 of his last 6, had some chances at 17, and then 18 just totally misjudged the wind. Still got up and down and still had a chance to, make a playoff where, I never really felt like he had a chance that day. I don't even think Scotty felt like he had a chance for the most part that day with how far Min-Woo was out in front. But I think overall, when you look at his game and where he was at the beginning of the year, I think it was the right tune-up for him. I think he should feel pretty decent about where his game's at.
He certainly should, and Rory got a pretty good tune-up going into the Masters as well. As of course it'll be Scotty and Rory, stars of the show, at Augusta next week for the Masters. All right, we have one more tournament before we get there, though, and that of course is going to be the Valero Texas Open, TPC San Antonio. Always the week before, which is like the golden ticket tournament, right, Smiley? Because you have a group of guys who obviously are in. And they're looking to tune their game like Scotty and Rory did this week. So you're going to have Ludwig Oberter. You're going to have Fleetwood. You've got Cantlay. Jordan's playing. Matsuyama. So those guys, we know what's on their mind. They want to get their game right. That's why they're playing. And then, Smile, we have all these other guys who aren't in to Augusta yet. And there's only one way for them to get there now, and that's to win this whole thing. A lot of big stakes if you're a few of these guys who are not going to Augusta.
Yeah, a good example was last year. Akshay Bhatia, he was a player that was trying to play his way in. He ends up winning the golf tournament. So there's young players that are, trying to find their way to, play in their first major championship. It's an opportunity. You've seen first timers win at this golf course, and then you got other players like you're talking about that are trying to, work on their game a little bit. If they find their way into contention, that's great, but it's not the end all be all. It's just like, let's not wear ourselves out. Let's work on the shots we need to work on. And I think that's what you are probably going to see from guys like Oberg. Probably he's going to play his way into contention. And I think that would be the goal of many of the top guys. But we'll see if the players with everything on the line as far as making it to the major will be able to take down a Ludwig coming down the stretch. I think that would make for some fun TV.
Well, look, and there's plenty of guys at the top of this board this week who would love a win and not just a tune up. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood would love to finally win an event on the PGA Tour. I know Jordan would love to get back in the winner's circle and get himself high up on that points list again after being hurt last year. How about Gary Woodland, how he played? Because he needs to win, Smiley, and he finished second, 19 under this past week. How about his game? Is that going to translate this week into San Antonio?
Well, he sure played good last week. You have to be a little bit more accurate, obviously, off the tee at Valero. It's a completely different golf course. You get some crosswinds and some really difficult tee shots that can lead to some lost balls. With the way Gary putted last week, that's got to be a huge positive for him. He's worked really hard on that. I think it's one of the main reasons why he found himself near the top. He's obviously still very long. He's second in driving distance. Gary could be a really good pick. But the guy who always plays good at this golf course is Corey Connors. He's the one that it's almost just a no-brainer every year to take Corey at this place because driving is so important. His iron game is good, but the greens play small, and with him always being in the fairway, he's always somewhat around the lead. He's the first guy that pops in my brain for Valero, but as you know, Corey Connors struggles closing out golf tournaments, and Valero is a place he's done it. So maybe those, just the memories of winning at a place will help him get through this week.
Won there in 19, won there 2 years ago in 23. So 2 wins there. He's third on the board at 18-1. That sounds like your one and done pick this week, Smiley. It sounds like you're going with Corey Connors.
I think it's going to be mainly just because I'm not going to pick him anywhere else because he just doesn't win golf tournaments. Nothing against him. He's a top 10 machine, but Valero, I think I just might have to take him.
It's not easy to do, Smiley, winning golf tournaments. Check out the Smiley Show this week here on the Grid. See you next week, Smiley.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. You studied the stats. You had the perfect bracket until your upsets turned into regrets. SportsGrid rides the highs and lows of every buzzer beater, bracket buster, and Cinderella story.
The Big Ten Freshman of the Year!
Our team brings you sharp insights, real-time reactions, and all the madness. Only on SportsGrid.
If you look at how the men and women did it, the men, the portal opened up the day after the round of 32. Same thing with the women. Men on Monday, women on Tuesday. Why can't they just do the day after the national championship game when the season ends, next season begins, then you open up the portal. All teams have completed play. All bets are off.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Always good to see your boy Smiley styling on C2C with Carver High. As we keep going on baseball, though, here on the trek home.
We do keep going with that. And update in Philly, where the Phillies were down 1-0 going into the bottom of the seventh. That has changed. They get a 2-run double from Sosa and then a 2-run Schwarber, and they now lead 4-1. Still hitting in the bottom of the seventh inning against the Rockies. And the Orioles have extended out to 8-3 against the Red Sox. 8-4 now as they drive in a run. So there you go. 8-4. Royals won 11-1. White Sox won 9-0. Final game for tonight to look at is the Braves, who are 0-4, make the trip up the Parkway to Los Angeles, where they'll see the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine. It'll be Grant Holmes against Tyler Glasnow. Heavy lumber for the Dodgers, minus 250, plus 195 for the Braves, and a 7.5.
Yeah, I gotta go Glasnow and the Dodgers. It's that simple. Like, John Holmes, big John Holmes. Like, what are we doing here? AVN Awards? I'm not having it. Give me the Dodgers in the Ravine.
Big John Holmes. There you go. So that's tonight. But how about we got to get some long balls too here this evening. So let's get some tater time. Had a cold afternoon. We played a couple guys in the afternoon. It looks like nobody's going to come through for us here. Maybe Bohm can. He's up right now, but he's fouling some pitches off. All right, here we go for tonight. I'm going after a few guys that have not homered yet this year and a couple other guys who have. Let's start in Miami with the Mets and the Marlins, where 3 games in, we have not gotten one from Pete Alonso yet this year. And Miami is historically a place where he hits a lot of bombs. So we're going to go plus 350 with the Polar Bear to kick things off down in South Beach. Next, we haven't seen Santander yet ring the bell for the Jays. They have the Nats in town tonight, and his numbers now moved up beyond 4-1. So plus 420 for Santander
420, what time
in Toronto. Let's go. We'll also get the 420 going for our boy. His first game in Sacramento. I'm interested to see how the ball flies out at this place. Our boy Rooker, Brent Rooker, plus 420 for the A's.
Give me the Butler
in Sacramento. And the Butler's got a good price too. Thought about the Butler as he has not homered yet this year. Rooker did have one in Seattle over the weekend. But yes, we do want to get both of them involved. Next, we'll go to Tampa. I told you my weather. I saw some of the weather reports. Wind's going to be blowing out at Steinbrenner Field tonight. So let's get Brandon Lau, who homered yesterday, plus 440 for him from the Rays side. And how about a cruise missile from the Pirates side for two in that game?
Yes, sir.
6-1 cruise missile. We will do that. And for the final one this evening, we'll go Rangers and Reds in Cincinnati.
Smash burger.
And can we get a little smash burger, a little burger time tonight?
Here we
At
go,
plus
Baconator.
480. You know, a little burger time. He has not homered yet for the Rangers, so he's a guy that usually's hit the ball hard. We don't keep him down often, so we'll go burger time. Alonso, Santander, Rooker, Lau, Berger, and a cruise missile. The Taters for a Monday night.
I saw a guy on Good Morning America today trying to sell a burger and a pita bread, and just can't have it. We're not having pita bread burgers. We're having full-on Baconators or smash burgers. There's no pita burgers for femmes over here. We're not having.
Nobody wants a pita burger. That's for sure. Nobody wants to do that. All right, there you go. Baseball for tonight. NBA now. Let's go through a few things. Then we have a big schedule there as well. Cavs beat the Clippers 127-122. Knicks took care of Portland by 17 at the Garden yesterday afternoon. The Hawks beat the Bucks by 21. There's some big blowouts last night. 145-124. The Great Barrier Thief in that game broke the franchise record for steals in a season for the Hawks.
He's not the defensive player of the year. Not even close.
Not even close. He's not even going to be not even in the running. It's amazing.
Facts.
The T-Wolves beat the Pistons 123-104. But the real main event in the Piston-Timberwolves game was the brawl that happened that spilled into the crowd, into the first couple of rows. 7 players and coaches were ejected, including J.B. Bickerstaff. He was one who was also ejected, along with a bunch of players. Here's Bickerstaff afterwards on the fight.
Obviously, you're frustrated. The game didn't go the way that we hoped it would have gone. That instance is one of those things where, when you play the way that we play, you earn a reputation. You're going to be tested, and guys think, that's what they have to do. But you regret obviously where all of it took place. That's not something you ever want to see happen.
We regret where it was, but
again, I thought our guys stood their ground and defended each other and had each other's back. And those are non-negotiables in our locker room, is that you stand your ground and you defend one another and have each other's backs. And I thought our guys did that tonight.
Okay, great. Here's the guy that 1 week blames the refs for everything, and he gets no calls. And then the next week he's talking about fighting and standing your ground and standing up for yourself. I think JB needs to have a drink. He needs a beverage. He really needs I think he needs some Henny. He needs to chill out. I think the Pistons are a really good young team. There's no doubt about it. And then they're going to lose in the playoffs.
That's probably what's going to happen. I would say probably in the first round. They're going to lose in the playoffs. That's where it'll go. Because whether they play
the
Indiana
Pacers or something,
I would say it's either going to be Indiana or the Knicks at this point. It feels like it's going to be one of those two that they're going to play. They'll lose to either of those teams. But they've done something that has never been done before in the NBA. They tripled their win total from the previous season. They had 14 wins last year. They have now gotten to 42. This year. So tripling the win total, an NBA first.
Listen, I think they've been fantastic, and there's a reason to go to see them play and to pay for a ticket now in Detroit, and it hasn't been that way in 15 years.
Longer.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, Go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm so sorry, Carver High, that I was just on, Butler to beat Utah outright and then getting the 2.5. Boom, boom, boom. I'm sorry that I'm just boom.
Nice job with Butler. First game in the crown in the books.
Mata. I told you, he's a better coach. They got some hack filling in. Utah doesn't have a coach. They're overrated. They suck anyway. They have some interim guy standing there acting all cool. Not beating Thad.
I'm surprised most of these teams even have players left since there's 2,000 players in the portal. I'm surprised that these teams can even get anybody
we'll only
out there.
report on where players go now. I saw one today. I actually saw one that your boy, I think St. John's got another one. Providence gets Bryce Hopkins 15.8 a game from Providence. He's going to St. John's now to play for Patino.
Wow. How about that? So Patino, that team's just going to get better and better with Rick working the portal every year with what he does. Pelicans beat the Hornets last. I know Luke's pumped up. Warriors beat the Spurs by a cool 42 points last night. Podziemski had 27 points on 7 threes for the Warriors. The Raptors beat the Sixers by 18. First time since 16-17, the Sixers are officially eliminated. From their playoffs. They're finished.
Licking stamps. Mail it in every night.
Another huge win. How about 148-109 for the Rockets against the Suns? Jeez. Honestly. Rockets have won 12 of their last 13. Jalen Green had 33. 3 teams scored at least 145 points last night. We just told you. The Rockets, the Warriors, and the Hawks all got over $145. That is the first time that has happened since 1970. 3 teams doing it on the same day, scoring 145 points or more.
But look at these teams getting lit up. Let's face it, it's Gladbach City time. They are tanking. They are mailing it in. There is so much money to be made right now betting in the NBA against these hack-ass teams that don't even try every night.
Everybody wants to make sure they have as many ping pong balls available for Cooper Flag as they can.
That's right.
You got to fail for Flag right now. The top 3 have the same amount of odds, but you got to make sure you're in that mix to have as many ping pong balls as possible. Durant also sprained his ankle in that game. I'd shut him down.
So I'm going to see him Sunday. Why go? He's not going to play.
He ain't playing Sunday. He's finished. He ain't going to play. So
why go to see the Slim Reaper if he's not playing? I mean,
You see him in street clothes.
Here's the flip. I'm out. I got 4 left. Can we? How about a flip to the Rangers Devils on Saturday afternoon instead?
Oh wow!
How about a flex schedule?
Yeah.
How about,
Flex
how
it
about a
out.
flex
Go to the hockey
schedule?
game instead. You can go to the
I
pucks.
tell
You could do that. Saturday night, Mavs beat the Bulls 120-119. So the Bulls have been playing some wild games lately. And that was another one, a 1-point loss to the Mavericks on Saturday night. Bam Adebayo said he was, quote, not shocked that Jimmy Butler didn't speak to his ex-teammates in the Miami return last week.
Gee, you think?
Whatever. I mean, what do they want him to do?
Have
Go
you ever
hug everybody?
seen anything like, Mike, how long this story, you know what this is? This is long COVID. It's long COVID. It just won't
It's
end.
right up there with like the Dak Prescott contract extension now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't end. Like it has to stop at this point. Don't care anymore about Jimmy and Miami. The Joker, fastest player in NBA history to reach 16,000 points, 8,000 boards, 5,000 assists. He did it in 739 games. Larry Bird was the previous fastest in 799. So the Joker got him by 60 games.
And he'll be the fastest player to live in Serbia after he retires in a couple of years to go run horse tracks.
OKC won their 48th game by double digits on Saturday. They're only the 5th team in NBA history to win 46 or more games by 10-plus points. The 71-72 Lakers have the record. It was 50. They're going to break that because they got like 7 or 8 games left. They'll break that Laker record, and all other 4 teams won the NBA title that season.
Give me the Thunder to win it all.
I was going to play you John Moran talking about Taylor Jenkins, but honestly, the Grizzlies are so bad right now. I don't know if you can take it, but I'll play you John.
No one cares that he got fired at all in America.
I know, it's over. It's over.
No one
so
cares.
We'll get into tonight's games when we come back. We have a lot of games.
No one can pronounce the new guy's name either.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
stretch they come. Here we go, Carver High, with these NBA tilts this evening.
Yeah, let's start with our friends and family only game of the night, and that's in Charlotte between the Jazz and the Hornets. Man, you got to be a diehard to go to this one. Hornets minus 2.5, 221.5 the total for this gem tonight.
Yeah, I got to still take the Hornets at the Spectrum. I think Clarkson's out. I know the Jazz suck. So do the Hornets. The Hornets have won a couple more games than them. I'll take them home team special, the blue light special. I wouldn't bet on it if you paid me.
No part of that game. The Kings are in Indiana against the Pacers. Pacers minus 4.5, 235.5 is the total.
Yeah, I like the Pacers on their home floor at the Fieldhouse to get it done against the Kings on the road.
Clippers on this long East Coast trip. Their spot tonight is actually in Orlando. They'll see the Magic this evening. Clippers minus 2.5, 210.5 is the total.
I don't know how interested they are in this game, but I still think the Clippers are better than the Magic.
Well, look, they should be very interested. You know, they're only a game out, and we'll have more time tomorrow. We'll go through the standings a little bit more in depth. They're only a game back in the loss of 6th in the West. The big difference between 6 and 7, as you know, 6, 7, and 8. So when you're only a game back in the loss, you better find a way to get interested when you're in Orlando tonight. Whether it's a long road trip or not, every win matters if you want to avoid that play-in week. So that's where the Clippers are right now. The Heat are in D.C. against the Wizards tonight. Heat are 8.5-point road favorites, 216.5 the total.
I still got to take Miami here at the Capital One. I don't care. The Wizards, I'm not buying them. I just can't bet on them with their fat-ass 16 wins. Like, honestly, I gotta go hero sandwich and bam.
The Celtics, of course, they are looking for, what are they, 9 in a row tonight, right? The Celtics, they're in Memphis against the Grizz. Minus 5.5 for Boston, 236.5 the total.
I still like Boston. It's on TNT. You can watch them eviscerate the Grizzlies. They're just flat out better, and they're on fire right now, and they just knock everyone down.
They have been, and the Grizzlies have just been
Jalen has a new hairdo.
Horrible lately, the Grizzlies. The Bulls, as we mentioned, they have been a lot of fun winning some of these games, and even in the losses, they've been real close. They're in OKC tonight, though, against the Thunder. 14.5 for the Thunder this evening, 239.5 the total.
Everyone gets whacked by the Thunder. I'm going to go Rogie Vachon here tonight with my Bulls on the road at the Paycom. Give me the 14 and a hook that they're involved.
The Nets are in Dallas against the Mavericks. Mavericks minus 9.5, 217.5 is the total this evening.
Yeah, I like Dallas at the airport arena. I really do. Give me the Mavs at home. The Nets are another one licking stamps.
And finally, second game of the TV doubleheader will be the Rockets, who, of course, we talked about the Rockets earlier. 12 of their last 13. They are at the Crypto to see the Lakers tonight. Lakers minus 3.5, 225.5 the total. A real good late night game.
How in God's name are they favored over a team this hot? They've won 12 of 13, and you're giving me 3.5 in Lipstick City. Give me the Rockets outright.
Rockets outright this evening. How about that against the Lake Show for you? So there you are. All of tonight's action in the NBA. Everybody very excited for all of it. Quickly, before I move on, I will tell you, final now in Baltimore, 8-5.
Oh, the Red
Orioles
Sox
do
are going to
beat
win
the
the
Red
World
Sox.
Series. They're incredible, 1-4. They're just tearing it up.
It's a great start for that under 86.5. 1-4 out of the chute. That's what we like to see. Good for the under. And they're in the bottom of the 8th in Philly.
Underbelly.
4-1. I think you might have just made it 5-1 if that was a fair ball, which I think it was, Max Kepler going big fly down the right field line for the Phillies. So they take a 5-1 lead now over the Rockies.
Easy money.
So there you go. Easy money for all of them. Nice job by the Phillies here. They just need 3 outs to close that one away. All right, football now. NFL league meetings this week in Palm Beach, Florida. Everybody wants to go to Palm Beach at the end of March, beginning of April. It's just such a nice time to be down there, especially when you're in other parts of the country. They will be there for the next few days. They're going to discuss a lot of topics this week, a lot of rule changes, among other things. They're also expected to discuss one of our favorite topics, 18-game schedule. Man, what are the you think that they're actually not going to pass that? You know they're going to play 18 games. You've been saying this forever.
I mean, that's just inevitable. All I really care about in these meetings, in this, a rich guy club, is are they going to ban the tush push? That's all I care about. 18 games is automatic. We know that's happening. So are they going to ban it or not? The tush push. There's rumors that they got enough people to vote it out, that they want to get rid of it.
Well, I saw, especially my guy, I saw McDermott do a bunch of interviews. He's on this competition committee now. And apparently there's a pretty significant push from a lot of people to try to ban this thing, this tush push. So they're saying that it's going to be pretty tight.
I mean, can you even believe it? Like, really? I cannot believe that something so asinine, like, if you're such a badass, stop it. If you're such a badass, stop the play. No one can stop the play. They have mastered it, and they won another Super Bowl ring with it, and nobody can stop it. And so the best way these pathetic rich guys can come up with an idea is to ban it because nobody can stop it. How absolutely childish and pathetic is that? Like, stop the play. You know what they say? Guys are getting injured. I have never seen one guy get injured because of the tush push. I got to tell you, Philly, I'm with you on this one. Someone needs to stop the play, not ban the play. I think it's ridiculous.
I don't think they should ban the play either. And the weird part was that McDermott even said, we don't have any data that suggests that there's more injuries being caused on the play.
Because
there's no data that that's happening. Because exactly right, there are not more injuries that are happening. By the way, make it 6-1 Phillies. Castellano, the next batter, puts one over the center field wall at Citizens Bank. So they're teeing off now on Colorado, 6-1 lead.
Who is
for the Phillies here? Unbelievable. All right, I have Tomlin for you. Can we? This is a little long. I got to wait on Tomlin. Yeah, because it's him from this morning at the meeting talking about Aaron Rodgers and that situation. But I'll start with this with the Rodgers stuff. Did you see all this glorious footage of him and DK Metcalf throwing at UCLA this weekend? I like how not only did the story get out, but they had someone there to leak the footage of them running around UCLA on the field, throwing the ball around with each other. How convenient.
How in God's name do you go to train with the guy and you're not going to sign the deal? What are you in love with him? Like, are you two dating? Like, can we just sign this deal already and make it official? He's working out with him because he's going to play for the Steelers.
I think that this is all nonsense. I think that this deal, I don't know what exactly they're waiting for, but he's going to be a
painful.
Steeler.
That's what they're waiting for. He's just so painful. He's such a prima donna.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's listen to Tomlin and then tell your story because I think your story's better.
Okay, well, here's Tomlin this morning talking about Rodgers. Now, not only is this Tomlin, but I mean, check this dude out. Can they get an air conditioner? I know they're in Florida, but they're inside at this breakfast this morning. Can we get this guy? Watch how many times he wipes the sweat off his head. Can we get these guys an air conditioner? Where they're doing all
he's a
these
free
interviews?
agent. As you guys know, he came to visit last Friday. We had a really productive day. He's been in this thing a long time. I've been in this thing a long time. But it's no substitute for, intimacy and spending time together and getting to know one another in a non-competitive environment. And so that was really good. But I don't have any new updates in terms of where the process is. We'll see where it leads us.
How unsettling is it, or is it, to not have this situation?
I'm really comfortable with being unsettled this time of year, to be quite honest with you. It's about talent acquisition. We got two main means of acquiring talent: free agency and the draft. We multitask. We do both. Those needs that we fulfill in free agency, we do so there, and when we don't, we fulfill it in the draft. And so I just learned over the years that this time of year, although day to day can be somewhat uncomfortable, it is a process.
That was his second wipe. Anyway, I recommend the cardiologist. What is happening there at that fancy 5-star hotel?
Now, he also said, along with all that comfortable stuff, that he'd be comfortable if Mason Rudolph was the starter next year.
Slow down.
I don't believe him on that one. That one I don't believe.
I think he can play when somebody's injured for a couple weeks. He's one of those guys that can play 2 or 3 weeks and win a couple games. And then let's get him back on the sideline and get him some food and some hydration and keep him there because he's not meant to play every week. Let's face facts. I will never forget the time I went to the team hotel in Indianapolis, and there he was eating in the restaurant by himself. And I said to Gunnar, "Look, it's Mason Rudolph. Go over there and ask him for his autograph." And my son goes, "Whatever, bro. I don't want to know him." And I was like, "Oh, all right, never mind. Sorry about that."
Well, at least you didn't get a chance for him to say no, like Dame Time at the fight in Vegas. So at least I
am really opposed to Dame Time these days. As you know, I've turned on him. I'm glad he's dealing with his problems and his blood clot. He had it coming.
And the Steelers may go after Kirk Cousins if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign with them.
Listen, that's not happening. But I got to tell you, based on their quarterback room right now, it's not the worst thing I ever heard. Remember, this guy could sling it and put up massive stats. He never mattered, never won any big games, but he put up massive numbers. And he claims that he was injured all last year and that his arm was injured and he was having problems. And it showed, believe me you. But now there's no way he's still injured with that. I'm asking you, Carver High, if they have no one else but Mason Rudolph, would you be willing to take a flyer on him for $10 million to play with his arm better because he was injured last year? Would you be willing to do that if you have no one else? I'm not putting Jalen Milroe in a Steeler game.
I would rather have Kirk Cousins than Mason Rudolph or Jalen Milroe. I would rather have Kirk Cousins.
That's why I sent you the story.
That's really not.
I got no problem with it. If they have nothing else, do it. Because if he's healthy, he can put up numbers. That's it. He was injured all year. People say he sucks and he's lost it and he's this and that. That guy always raked.
Look,
he just never won anything that mattered.
Look,
I think
this
$40
is
million a year because he put up huge numbers.
I think it's all a moot point anyway because I mean the guy's out there throwing with your new wide receiver.
Tell the story of what's going to happen. Just tell the story.
Well, look, there's a rumor on the internet which has kind of been dispelled, but hasn't that. You know that obviously Rodgers goes on McAfee all the time, every week during the season, etc. McAfee's doing some live show in Pittsburgh next week. So
that's
the
what
rumor was that that's when he was going to announce he was going to play for the Steelers. Now, McAfee has said that's not true.
He's lying.
That's not happening. But that was the rumor on the internet. But
he's lying. That's when he's going to do it next week.
That's probably what he'll say. But he's out there throwing with Metcalf, unless he's just trying to troll everybody in Pittsburgh. I mean, why would you go throw with Metcalf?
Honestly, like someone should beat his ass if he doesn't sign with the Steelers after he went out to work out with Metcalf. What did he do that for? For shacks and giggles? I mean, honestly.
It's amazing. The Raiders signed linebacker Devin White. The Bills gave corner Christian Benford a 4-year, $76 million extension. So they've signed a lot of their guys to long-term deals here this offseason. There you go, the NFL. We'll have a lot tomorrow. We'll get a lot of those coaches from the breakfast this morning. We'll hear from some of them.
Will they all be sweating profusely as well?
See, I think that's part of the game now. I want to see if it was so hot that everybody was sweating, or if it was just Tomlin. Maybe he had some bad eel the night before or something.
Maybe he was doing blow. You never know. I mean, you get the sweats.
Guess anything's possible at this point. Phillies win 6-1. It's a final at the bank in Philadelphia. So an afternoon win at a home opener
Rockies
for the
are
Phillies.
off to a rolling start. I mean, they're going to have a great summer.
They're really bad. How about hockey?
Everybody loves hockey.
Habs beat the Panthers last night, so that's good news for them because in this race that nobody wants, this last spot in the East, Montreal now has 77. The Rangers have 77 points as well. Columbus 75, and then the Islanders and Detroit with 74. Islanders lost in Tampa and Carolina this weekend, so they're in a lot of trouble. The Penguins did beat the Senators 1-0 in overtime yesterday. Now, I have a Crosby goal. I don't have enough time to play it right now. Maybe I'll start leftovers with Crosby. You know what? We'll give you something to get you jump started in the leftover segment. We'll do the Crosby overtime winner, and then the 4 games tonight, and I'll have some other things for you as well. So we'll do all of that when we come back in leftovers. Ovi did score yesterday.
He's sniffing it.
890, 5 away from breaking the record. So hopefully he gets it by the end of the season.
Did you know? Sportsbooks sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups. My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Spew news.
Man, spew news into leftovers, I guess, is how we'll do this. Yeah. Now, you know I like this guy, so this is unfortunate for me. I love playing him for tater time, things like that. He was really good to us last year when he was with the Padres, and now we're finding out why. Atlanta Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar. He gets an 80-game suspension for violating baseball's PD policy.
Fully leaded.
That is not good.
Yeah, it was on the gas, the 93 premium.
I can't take the gas, man. I mean, honestly. Or maybe he just picked it up when he went to the Braves. It's possible. Maybe it's a Brave thing. Maybe he grabbed it with the Braves.
He got it in some Cali. He had that synthetic,
let me tell you, 80 games is brutal. I mean, it's half the season. You just signed this guy to a huge deal.
And it's guaranteed.
He played 4 games. You started 0-4, and he's gonna now. I'll see you guys later. Good luck with the start. I'm gonna go chill out for 2.5 months, 3 months.
You think they'll be talking about that tonight at Chavez Ravine on the broadcast?
Yeah, I would say so. That will make the broadcast tonight.
Leftovers.
Unbelievable. Here we go. You wanted it, you got it. Scoreless in overtime last night for the Pens and the Sens on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Senators in position. Crosby, one-timer, scores! Sudden death for Sydney, and the Penguins take it in overtime with a 2-point party on 5th Avenue. 1-0 over the Senators.
And he beat him like a rented mule.
You sure did. Let's get to tonight. Minnesota is at the Rock in Jersey against the Devils. Minus 162 for Jersey, plus 134 for the Wild, and it's 5.5.
Yeah, I like the Devils tonight at the Rock.
This is like the NHL version of my basketball friends and family only game. The Predators and the Flyers in Philadelphia. 2 teams going nowhere and playing out the string. Minus 130 for the Flyers now. Plus 110 for the Preds and a 5.5.
I'm on the Flyers because Asshat is gone and they're playing loose and free in Philly. Philadelphia freedom. Come on, man.
The Flames are in Colorado against the Avalanche. The heavy lumber game of the night, minus 280 now for Colorado. plus 230 for the Flames and a 6.5.
Give me the Flames and a goal and a half at minus $1.15. Getting.
And the Stars are a road favorite in Seattle at the Climate Pledge, minus 170, plus 140 for the Kraken, a 6.5.
Lay the goal and a half and give me a bill and a half if they get it done at the Climate.
There you go. That's your hockey.
Everybody loves
tonight.
hockey.
Stanford, of course, fired their coach last week, Troy Taylor, so they needed somebody to step in. It's pretty late in the game to go hunting for a coach, so Andrew Luck will turn to Frank Reich to be the interim head coach for Stanford football for the 2025 season.
Coach in the NFL?
Yes. So that's going to be now, and they've already said this is a one-year thing. He's not going to coach the team beyond this year. He's just coached them this year. So Frank Reich on the Stanford sideline this coming season. Min Woo Lee wins the Houston Open for his first PGA Tour win. Last week on Golf Wednesday, myself and Stewie both had Min Woo Lee at 35-1. Winners here on Golf Wednesday. We always love that. Erling Haaland injured as Man City reached the FA Cup semis. Not a good scene there. And I guess the WNBA season is around the corner. The Liberty trying to bring back their core from their championship. Brianna Stewart, one more time around. She's going to play.
All right, so Ferrall finished Resorts World Casino fined $10.5 million in a money laundering case. How lovely. They do have a Carver steak in the Resorts World, which is more important. Legendary comic Paul Rodriguez allegedly busted for narcotics possession. That would be like drugs when they pulled him over. DUI suspect caught speeding at 130 miles an hour said that he was in a rush to see his cat. That is fantastic. A pickup truck drives over the head of a 71-year-old New York tourist on a Florida beach while she was tanning. She got her head crushed by someone driving on the beach. GTD is next with the Kevin Walsh. Get my app, search Ferrall. It's badass. You're going to love it. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Coast to coast.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. You studied the stats. You had the perfect bracket until your upsets turned into regrets. SportsGrid rides the highs and lows of every buzzer beater, bracket buster, and Cinderella story.
The Big Ten Freshman of the Year!
Our team brings you sharp insights, real-time reactions, and all the madness. Only on SportsGrid.
If you look at how the men and women did it, the men, the portal opened up the day after the round of 32. Same thing with the women. Men on Monday, women on Tuesday. Why can't they just do the day after the national championship game when the season ends, next season begins, then you open up the portal. All teams have completed play. All bets are off.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.